So, you want to know what to do after college when you don't know what you want. Most people think that they should magically know what to do after college and that they should have their life entirely planned out, but it's really not that easy when it comes down to it. And this is especially true if you don't know if you want to do what you went to college for. This personally happened to me, and in this video, I'm going to break down the types of jobs to try after college when you don't know what to do. I'll explain to you exactly what to look for, some red flags to avoid, and some things to do in your free time to make sure this actually works. At the end of the video, I'm going to share with you some real things that I did personally, some real jobs that helped me figure out my path, so that way you can be inspired to figure out your own. Part 1. What to look for when you're not sure where to start. Steve Jobs, Oprah Winfrey, and even Jeff Bezos didn't start off with a specific plan. They didn't know exactly what they wanted to do or what they loved. In fact, Steve Jobs spent years studying with Zen masters before he even considered founding Apple. The point is, you can do great things and still be confused at the beginning. So what types of things should you look for in a job? There are 4 main criteria that personally helped me figure out what I wanted to do when looking for a job and in my long-term goals, and now I'm going to share with you. Number 1, this job pays you to learn. You aren't just doing something that you already know, you're actively making money while learning new skills and new things. You're learning on the job, getting better at something every single day. And let me let you in on a little secret. Sometimes you can get a job that will pay you to just study, read books, and do other things. More on that to come in the near future. 2, the job allows you to develop your network. Developing your network means more than just increasing your number of connections on LinkedIn. This means meeting people who may be in a position that you want to be at someday and learning from them. If you wanted to be a lawyer and you go ask a lawyer what they like and don't like about their job, that could help you down the line. That's how I figured out I did not want to go to vet school and become a veterinarian. It also means that maybe someone introduces you to a job or concept that you haven't heard of before, but it actually might be your dream job. Building your network is one of the strongest ways to increase your chances of success. And if you can get paid to do it at the same time, why not? The third thing in a job to look for is that it teaches you transferable skills. Did you study business in college but have no teaching skills? Or did you major in engineering but have no idea how to talk to people? I'm sorry about the engineering joke. I have a friend who is an engineer. I know he's going to laugh at this part, so I had to put it in there. Working a job will teach you skills that will help you learn 10 times faster than going and studying it in a classroom. Don't forget, you learn best by doing. The 4th box to check is that this job will give you flexibility. I'm just going to be honest, when I graduated, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, and it was super stressful. The last thing that would excite me or want me to do anything is working 40 hours a week at a job that I don't love. It is important that you find a job that can be flexible. Whether this means being able to work part-time or fully remote is up to you, and you can kind of decide what flexible means. But this flexibility is important because it will still allow you to experience life while you are young. It's not selfish to want to live your life how you want to live it. And I think that it would be more selfish to your future self by not investing the time and energy now to figure out what you really want from life. So these are the 4 criteria to look for in a job, but almost just as importantly are things to look out for that you want to avoid in a job. Part 2, red flags to avoid. There are things that I have done personally, mistakes I've made that have stalled my progress in figuring out what I wanted to do with my life. And I want you to try to avoid these as well as much as possible. We've all heard the stories of people working the job they hate for 40 years and then they go, I used to have dreams like you, kid. I don't want you to be that. I don't want me to be that. And so try to avoid these. Before I tell you what to avoid or try to avoid, I want to make sure you know that it's okay if your job has some of these things in them. A bad plan is better than no plan, and taking action that is imperfect is better than not taking action at all. Red flag number 1, avoid a job that drains all of your energy. I know that you've definitely had a class or an obligation or even a friend maybe that when you spend time with that friend or at that place, you come home and you're just drained and mentally, emotionally, maybe even physically exhausted. You get home and you want nothing else to do except sit on the couch, watch TV, and eat some junk food. If that's not you, then that's just me, and someone please comment me too so I don't feel alone. Think about your energy like a phone battery. Some jobs will drain that mental and emotional battery down to 2%, and you'll spend all day and the rest of the weekend recharging to try to get back to 100%. This leaves no capacity or time for actually figuring out your life, much less the things that you have to do on a day-to-day basis. Red flag number 2, it is very repetitive and monotonous. This is essentially the opposite of one of the green flags of learning something new every day. This is the job where you're clocking in, clocking out, doing the exact same thing. You can almost go on autopilot because you know how to do everything. And when you get home, it's like, what the heck did I do today? If you have ever seen the TV show Severance, you might know what this feels like. I want you to remember you're more than an automated piece of labor, and you deserve to be challenged and learn new things in your job. Red flag number 3, the job does not allow for growth. There are some jobs that look great on paper, might pay you a lot, might have good benefits, but it's not as good as it seems. If I told you that I'll give you a job that you could have done when you were 16 or that when you were in college, you wouldn't probably want to take that because you want to do something new to challenge you. That's why you went to college and graduated, because it was something new. If you keep doing the same things that you're used to and you're not growing, then you will never change and become the person you want to be. Try to be challenged with your work, and just don't forget, growing pains are uncomfortable. So it might not feel good, but it's helping you become better. Red flag number 4, this job takes up a ton of time. Yes, we are spoiled. Yes, we all want next day delivery. Yes, we have the attention span of a goldfish nowadays. Patience is something that is important to develop, but if your job is taking up the majority of your day and you have no time to do the other things on these lists and to figure out your life, then it's kind of pointless. 10 and 12-hour shifts might pay you a lot of good overtime, but how much energy and mental capacity and literally just time are you going to have? How much time are you going to have to figure out your career and your real job that you want if you're spending literally all day at work? You need to do certain things outside of your job in order for these green flags and red flags to actually produce any results. And so we'll talk about that next. Part 3, how to make this work. Okay, so picture this. You figured out a job that has these green flags, not a lot of red flags, and you get home from work. Now what should you do? Well, you have a couple of choices. You can come home, scroll on your phone, play some video games maybe, eat some Cheetos. Honestly, that sounds kind of nice. I might do that. But this isn't going to progress you towards your goal of figuring out your life. Or you can do things that help you move the needle and turn you from living in your life to designing the life that you want to live in. I personally think we should all try to choose the second option as much as possible. And let me show you what helped me. Number 1, journal every day and reflect on what you liked and didn't like about work that day. This was one of the key aspects that really changed my life, for real. You want to do this as soon as you get home and it's fresh in your mind. What aspects of the day did you like? What did you not like? Did you really like interacting with people, but you hated doing the business work? Or did you really like getting down to the data and crunching the numbers, but every time you had to interact with someone else, it was a little bit of a headache? The goal here is to build up a library of experiences that show you which aspects of work you like and which ones you don't. You also want to be careful to acknowledge the difference between energizing events and engaging events. There's going to be a video in the future about this, so if you want to see that, make sure to subscribe. Number 2, be willing to stay in student mode. And there's a couple ways to do this. Keeping your budget low and living the student lifestyle will help you have more options down the road. This frees up worries and stressors as well, because if you can keep your expenses low, there are fewer things to worry about, and then you have time to think about the bigger questions in your mind. Also, if you can be in the mindset of continuously learning, this will make a huge difference for you. A few books genuinely changed my life, and it's kind of funny because I actually did read them at work, but they helped me learn what I really wanted to do for my career. And if I wasn't in the mindset of still learning after I graduated school, I would have never read them. Before I tell you the last thing to try, if anyone has any other ideas or things that have helped them figure out their path or jobs that really made a big difference in their life, please comment them down below. We're all in this together trying to figure it out. The last thing to do after you get home from work is to do things you love. Remember how I said don't play video games or scroll after you get home from work? I kind of lied just a little bit. If you love playing video games and it makes you happy, you should do it every now and then. I love playing basketball with my friends, and I do it weekly to break up my week. If I could be spending that time hustling, trying to get another side hustle going, or reading as many books as possible, being uber productive. But what's the point in living life if you never actually live life? The key is balance, right? Balance in all things, work-life balance, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, the more time you spend working towards a specific goal, the more quickly you will achieve that goal. But one of the most important lessons I've learned in my short life here on Earth is that sometimes in order to find your life, you just have to get lost in that. If you spend all your time figuring it out, you might almost be making your life more of a task to optimize instead of just living life. So remember, it is important to do these things. They will make a big difference in helping you figure out trajectory, but you also want to make sure that you're living life, and you don't have to say no to hanging out with your friends because you have to read your book on how to figure out your life's purpose. That is your life's purpose, to hang out with your friends and do things that you love. Part 4, some job examples for you. Now, as promised, I'm going to share with you some jobs that personally helped me get through this tough time in my life. And to do that, I need the help from my little friend. Look, maybe I should just become a cat channel and do tricks. Maybe I can go on America's Got Talent. If you guys think I should quit this channel and become a cat trainer, just comment it down below, please. So here are the jobs I've personally tried that helped me figure it out and what I think would be good for you guys to try as well. These are not dream jobs. These most likely aren't going to be the jobs that you do forever. They might be, and that would be awesome. But you have to remember these are temporary learning jobs. Think of them like a science experiment. Your goal isn't to necessarily find your passion, but to take bits and pieces of each job and use that data to formulate a hypothesis of what a dream job would look like for you. Also, please, please, please remember, you don't have to have all 4 of the green flags and none of the red flags for these jobs to work. The first job that helped me was becoming a substitute teacher. This allowed me to literally read those books that changed my life because you're giving people tests and then you can do what you want. It also taught me that I really love teaching people. This is partly the reason why I started this channel, because I learned that I like to do education, but not necessarily maybe in the classroom. The second job that taught me a lot was my sales job. This job taught me how to be a better speaker, but it also taught me how to read people and how to make myself more sellable or marketable to opportunities in the future. One of the big trade-offs that really was not ideal was that this job was very repetitive and monotonous. I would have to call every day for 8 hours a day and do at least 100 calls a day. That part I dreaded, but it did teach me a lot. The third job that helped me was doing some construction. This is one of them that actually had a few more red flags than the green flags looking back at it, but it taught me that I do like to be active in what I'm doing. I have a hard time sitting at a desk for 8 hours a day, and I'd rather be active than sedentary for my jobs. Plus, it's kind of like a free workout, so if you're into that, this would be going for you. And it pays really well, so if you're trying to make a lot of money, go do that. The last recommendation I have for you is becoming a tutor. I actually started my own private tutoring business after college, and it taught me that I did love to teach people, but I also like to do work that made a huge difference. So there are kids that really need help out there, and if you can make a big difference in someone's life, in my opinion, that's more fulfilling than going to the daily grind 9 to 5 and doing the same thing over and over again. Plus, the good news is you just graduate from college and a degree. You can tutor literally anyone that needs help for that degree. And you can also tutor high school kids, whatever. So I want you guys to really know that if you're in your 20s, you recently graduated from college, or if you're at any point in your life and you feel behind, don't worry, you're not behind, you're actually early in figuring it out. Once you figure out what you really want from life and align it with your goals and what you want from work, everything becomes easier and you're more likely to succeed in your goals. Clarity comes from movement, not staying still, and every job will teach you something if you're paying attention. So I want you to know, don't look for the perfect job, look for the next experiment. The experiment that can help you get to that next step. I know that if you guys work hard for the next foreseeable future and are intentional in your goals and what you want to have happen, that you will see success no matter what. I talk about that in this video, and if you want to feel less behind, you can check it out here.